Hi, my name is Landon Hendricks. I belong to Artesia FFA. The title of my speech is Don't Fix What Feeds Us. For over 150 years, farming has been about trust. Trust in the land, the equipment, and methods passed down through generations. So when people tell farmers it's time to abandon what works, it's worth stopping to ask whether change is really necessary yet. Hi, my name is Landon Hendricks. I'm the sixth generation on a farm and ranch operation. Like thousands of other farm families around the world, we've never felt much need to change the way we farm. In recent years, electric cars and trucks have exploded in popularity. And because of this, they're pushing farmers to go electric too. But is agriculture really ready for that? I don't think so. I think we should stick with what has worked for generations, at least until the technology, cost, and the infrastructure make a real sense for farmers. For generations, farming has run on systems that are reliable, efficient, and built on experience. Our equipment, our practices, and even our routines have been fine-tuned to make the most out of what we have. According to Terrain Ag and McKinsey & Company, since 1990, the average price of a new 200 horsepower tractor has increased by roughly 287%, while overall inflation has increased only about half that amount. The price of fuel, fertilizer, and equipment keeps climbing, leaving little room for risk. When your livelihood depends on every penny, taking a gamble on something unproven isn't just bold, it's dangerous. Electric tractors are starting to hit the market, but they're still rare. In the United States, the electric tractor market was worth about $140 million in 2023 and is expected to reach $340 million by 2029. Around the world, estimates put the electric tractor market at $180 million in 2024, possibly reaching between $330 and $700 million by 2030. That might sound like a lot, but when you compare it to the hundreds of billions of dollars in total farm equipment sales, electric tractors are still a small niche, not a major shift. That said, there are definitely some interesting benefits. Electric tractors could save money on fuel. For example, an electric tractor using 20 kilowatt hours per hour of electricity would cost around $2.40 at an electricity rate of 12 cents per kilowatt hour, compared to $12 to $15 for a diesel tractor. Over 1,000 hours of use, this could save up to $10,000. Electric tractors could also reduce maintenance costs by up to 40% and be up to 60% quieter. In the long run, this makes a big difference near livestock, homes, or schools. Of course, they don't produce exhaust fumes, so they're cleaner for the air and the environment. But with those benefits come serious challenges. First one, and maybe most important, is cost. Missouri's first all-electric tractor sells for around $89,000, about double what you'd pay a diesel tractor the same size. And that doesn't include the cost for a charger, which can run another $3,000 to $4,000 to install. When your livelihood depends on every penny, it's just hard to justify. Then there's a question at how practical it really is. Diesel engines can run for decades, refuel in just a few minutes, parts are easy to find, and even if something breaks, it can be repaired or rebuilt. Electric tractors, on the other hand, can run 4 to 8 hours before needing a charge, and charging can take between 4 and 12 hours, depending on the size of the battery and the power source. During planting or harvest, farmers often work late in the night to beat the weather. Waiting on a tractor to charge just isn't not realistic. Another thing to think about is the life of the equipment itself. Diesel engines can run for decades with proper maintenance. Electric tractors, on the other hand, are still new, and no one really knows how long they'll last under tough, everyday farm use. Batteries wear out over time, and replacing one can cost tens of thousands of dollars. Until we have proof that these machines can last as long as diesel ones, it's really hard to justify switching. Infrastructure is another concerning issue. Most farms, including ours, are out in rural areas. Most areas like this have old power systems that may not be able to handle high-power chargers. Updating these kind of systems can be really costly, and there might not even be a qualified electrician nearby to do the work. Even once the equipment is in place, there's a learning curve. Farmers know how to work on a diesel tractor, but learning to work on something electric, that's a whole new challenge. Then it's important to realize that not every farm is in the same position to adopt new technology. A recent study by McKinsey & Company found that only 36% of small farms, those under 2,000 acres, are currently using or planning to use a major technology upgrade, while 81% of large farms, those over 5,000 acres, are. This means that many small farms like ours could get left behind in the electric switch unless the technology becomes more accessible and cheaper. The main thing we need is time. Time for the technology to improve, the prices to come down, and for the systems to prove themselves under real farm conditions. My grandpa has always told me, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That doesn't mean we shouldn't ever change. It just means we should think carefully before we do. Farming has kept families like mine running for generations, not because we chase every new trend, but because we think carefully about what really works. Forcing electric agriculture in before it's ready could hurt the very farms that keep this country fed. One day, electric farming might be the standard. The science is moving fast, and there's no doubt that the future will look different. But right now, the cost is really high, the infrastructure is weak, and the benefits are still uncertain. Farmers need to protect their land, their families, and their way of life by adopting new technology carefully and on their own terms. Let innovation prove itself first. Let's evolve, but not recklessly. Let's reimagine, but not gamble. Farming has always been about balance between nature and progress, between risk and reward. Until we have proof that these machines work better for farmers and not just for the environment, I think we should stick with what works. Because if it ain't broke, let's not fix it.